Nom 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 nom. Oh, it's a 2/2 as well. Isn't that fun because of the thing, right? It gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's actually a 2/2, which is groovy. So it's like 2 damage in and then 5 damage in, total for 7, and then we attack for 6. Right? That's a thing. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, ghouls and goblins. I'm Hello Good Game, and today we're playing Magic the Gathering Arena. I have a Rakdos mid-range recursion deck planned. This means we'll be using the color combination of red, black, and we'll be bringing our creatures back from the grave into play within the turn 4, turn 5, turn 6 mark, right? We're not taking too long to get there, but we're definitely not getting there right away. Of course, if you want to learn more about the deck archetypes, I do break those down within the guides in my channel. I'm sure you can find those if you are, really new to the game. With that being said, let's get into the deck. We'll break it all down, get into the gameplay footage. Then you can see firsthand if this is like a deck you want to be spending your wildcards on or not, right? Because I know many of you don't have the option to play every single deck. Moving forward past that, we will talk about, any deck changes that we want to make to the future and just recap our day. So again, thank you all for your time and attention. I really appreciate it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel to all of your friends to help support. We have a $10 giveaway on every single video live on YouTube. When the premiere hits, like it, comment it. When it hits 100 likes, I pull a comment at random. Boom, $10 gift card every single video. Don't worry, there's more giveaways though. We have a 500,000 gem giveaway, 100 one-on-one coaching sessions with myself that also comes with a cash prize. We also have our free entry cash prize monthly tournaments, Brawl and Artisan format, specialized for beginners, so don't worry, it's okay. And this will happen the middle weekend and last weekend of every single month. Free entry, cash prizes. How could you go wrong? Of course, coming full circle, this is all made possible by my financial supporters on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, everybody who's been shopping through my Amazon link and been buying their Magic the Gathering Arena codes through the Grey Viking Games link. All of my links are in the description below within the Linktree link, right? It just kind of is a table of context of links. Of course, if you can't find it, just Google Hello Good Game Linktree and it'll come up. Thank you so much. Now let's get into the video. So this is our Rakdos mid-range deck. It has a converted mana cost of 2.8. There are 16 creatures, 23 non-creatures, 21 lands, but we do have some module face cards to even that number out a little bit within the Smashing, the Mauling. The deck revolves around Terror of the Peaks and Vicious Return. Terror is not only a very strong attacker in the air with the evasion of flying, but whenever another creature enters play, Terror will deal damage equal to that creature's power to any target, which is a lot of fun. Vicious Return will allow us to sacrifice a creature, which is great because we're looking to bring creatures back from our grave. It also will have us discard cards because we're going to need to discard our Terror to get it into the grave if it's in our hand. And then finally, we're bringing it back from the grave. It gets a +1/+1 counter and gains haste, which is really cool. So if you already have a Terror in play, it's going to deal 6 damage and then you're going to attack for a whole bunch again. And that's just kind of where it starts, right? That's where we designed the deck. I like to break you through my build process as well as much as I can. And that's the combo that we looked for, right? And then we built around it, right? Building the foundation to help support the deck. This comes in the form of a lot of removal. And we're looking also to self-mill because we don't always want to be discarding the dragon, right? Sometimes we want it already in the graveyard. With this being said, let's talk about some of the support cards in the deck. 4 copies of Archfiend Vessel. This is a 1/1 with lifelink. When Archfiend Vessel enters the battlefield, if it entered from your graveyard or you cast it from your graveyard, exile it. If you do, create a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying. This is great on top of your Terror. Yes, it just deals 1 damage. But if you play it from your grave, You're going to get the 1 damage. It's going to exile. It's going to come back as a 5/5. You're going to get 6 damage total between the 2 targets, which is really nice. 1 damage to one target, 5 damage to another target or the same target. I really like Archfiend Vessel, and it's just something to play early on, right? It stops your opponent from just attacking you all the time because they know that it comes back as a 5/5 flyer, and if they don't have an answer for it, they might just kind of not attack and leave it sit there, right? Moving on, we do have 2 copies of Village Rites at instant speed. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature. Draw 2 cards though. This is great if our opponent targets any of our creatures with anything, especially adventure spells, because those adventure spells will be replayable from exile as the creature. If we interrupt that, right, there's no target, it goes directly to the grave as an entire card. They don't get access to the creature from exile. That's ideal. We can also use it to chump block, right? Our opponent has a big attacker. We put up, a blocker, and instead of just losing the creature, we sacrifice the creature, and that damage doesn't hit us anymore, and we still lose our creature, but we get the draw out of it, and that's the real upside to Village Rites. Whether it's early game and you're trying to find a land, or late game and you're just digging for a specific answer to whatever scenario that you find yourself in. Moving now into our 2 drops, we've got some removal, because it's not enough to just kind of, block up the battlefield, because what if your opponent doesn't care? You know what I mean? What if they just like, I'm going to power home, and that's that. So we do need to kind of mitigate from some of those more aggressive decks. Eliminate is a great answer to early game removal. Instant speed, destroy target creature or planeswalker with converted mana cost 3 or less. Of course, when we get beyond 3 mana, we've got other answers that we can start to use. Mire Triton, this is a 2/1 with Death Touch. When it enters the battlefield, mill 2 cards and you gain 2 life. The gaining of life is great alongside the Vessel. The sustainability against those aggro matchups that are looking to obviously deal all that damage to you is going to be great. And the Mire Triton is perfect for that, because not only is it gaining you life, we're milling our own library, which is what we want to do, but we're also, getting a Death Touch blocker, which is great, right? We can just kill anything when it blocks. Moving forward, we do have 4 copies of the Skyclave Shade, a 3/1. It cannot block, and if it was kicked, it will enter the battlefield with 2 additional +1/+1 counters on it, creating a 5/3, which is quite formidable. The kick will cost an additional 3 mana for a total of 5. It also has landfall, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under our control, if the Shade is in our graveyard and it's our turn, we may cast it from our graveyard this turn, which is great. I wish that you could cast this, at flash speed with a Fabled Passage. Unfortunately, you can't. I think you should be able to. Moving on, we do have the Thrill of Possibility ×2. At instant speed, as an additional cost to cast this spell, discard a card, draw 2 cards. This just helps us find what we're looking for, much like Village Rites. If we have too many land in hand, sure, toss them away and get some more useful cards, let's say. If we have a dragon in hand, don't want that, toss it to the grave. We want to reanimate it later. Moving forward, 2 copies of Shatterskull Smashing and the Hammer Pass. The Hammer Pass is our red bolt land, dealing 3 damage to us if we want it in untapped. If not, comes in tapped, that's fine. Smashing deals X damage, where X is equal, it deals X damage divided as we choose among up to 2 target creatures and or planeswalkers. If X is 6 or more, it will deal double that damage instead. So again, because we have so few land and a relatively manageable mana curve, this can be used as removal, and it works out quite well. But if it's early game, we're not really worried about our life so much because of the Vessel, because of the Triton, that we can stand to lose a couple life if need be. And maybe it's our first land drop and we just play a little bit slower. Moving now into our 3 drops, 4 copies of Tymaret Calls the Dead, an enchantment saga. When it enters play and on our next draw step, mill 3 cards. Then you may exile a creature or enchantment card from your graveyard. If you do, create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Next, you gain X life and scry X, where X is the number of zombies that you control. Again, this is great. It will set us up for our next turns. Creating the zombies is also good because we can easily sack them with Village Rites. Not so shabby. And yeah, you know, the life gain that it provides it's there. You know, we have so much of it that is more passive life gain than anything. And, you know, there are certain matchups that I do find it at least upsets your opponent. It makes them have to do a little bit more work, and you know, can potentially actually win you the match. Speaking of things that can potentially win you the match, Elspeth's Nightmare. This card is an absolute heater. Not only does it basically shut down our deck, but it's going to shut down a lot of other decks as well. Destroy a creature with power 2 or less than an opponent controls when it enters play. Next up, target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-creature, non-land card from it. That player discards that card. This takes care of maybe an Embercleave, maybe a Great Henge, Genesis Ultimatum, even Emergent Ultimatum we see now everywhere. And then, of course, target opponent exiles their graveyard, which is really good. Again, taking care of any recursion that they might have had planned. Moving forward now into our 4-drops. 3 copies of Extinction Event at sorcery speed. Choose odd or even, and then exile each creature with the chosen converted mana cost. 0 is even. 2 copies of Hogra Mauling. Instant speed for 4. 1 less to cast if an opponent controls no basic lands to destroy target creature. And of course, the Brood Pit comes in tapped. 4 copies of Kardur's Vicious Return. Now, we talked about this a little bit, but let's break it down in depth. You may sacrifice a creature. When you do Vicious Victory, Vicious Victory, that's a good name for a deck. Vicious Return deals 3 damage to any target, whether it's your opponent or something that they control, maybe a draw engine, right? Maybe a rogue. This is going to be great for that. Again, we can sacrifice our vessel, get it into the grave potentially. We can also sacrifice a zombie that's made, which is quite nice. Of course, because it's the first trigger, we can attack with the zombie, deal damage, or the vessel, whatever it happens to be, and then play this to sacrifice it, dealing 3 damage to a target, which is quite nice. But if our opponent has the block and kill on the zombie, you might just need to do this first. It's no worry. Next up, each player discards a card. This will allow us to get rid of the dragon if it's in our hand at the current time. And finally, return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a +1/+1 counter on it, and it gains haste until your next turn. This is great because we are pulling the one and only Terror of the Peaks from our graveyard. A 5/4 with flying. Spells your opponent casts that target Terror of the Peaks costs an additional 3 life to cast, which is pretty cool. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, Terror of the Peaks deals damage equal to that creature's power to any target. Absolutely amazing. We could big brain this as well, potentially. Have Terror in the Peaks, Terror of the Peaks, Terror in the Peaks, it makes sense. In play organically, boom, Vicious Return triggers. A Terror comes out on top of it as a 6/5, 6 damage to our opponent. And then we attack with a 5/4 and a 6/5 for 11 damage total, dealing 17 damage. And to wrap it up, we could have, when we played Vicious Return, done 3 damage directly to our opponent as well. So the dream is to get 1 Terror of the Peaks in play, right? So even if it's Vicious Victory, you hit your opponent, Terror in Peaks in play the next turn, on turn 5 like it would normally be. Then on turn 6, another Terror comes out from your graveyard. Absolutely. So Vicious Return, Terror, new Terror from your graveyard, hit for a total of 20 damage on turn 7, which is, you know, when the ultimatums are hitting without the ramp, unfortunately. I wish there was some way that we could ramp into this faster. I'm yet to discover it, and we're going to talk more about where this deck's going in the future with our wrap-up thoughts when we get through it. But for now, this is it. Of course, we do have a Locthwain in which we can tap for 4, drawing a card, losing life equal to the number of cards in our hand after the draw. You know, passive draw engine, if we can afford the life, which we should be able to because of all of the life gain that we have. 4 Fabled Passages, allowing us a thicker graveyard, of course. That's nice for us here. And then the Blightstep Pathway, the mountains, the swamps, they're all there. Originally, we started this build with things like the Ox. We had Call of the Death Dweller in play, but at the end of the day, they weren't necessarily pulling their weight as much as Terror of the Peaks. You know, they didn't have flying. I think there is room for the Ox, but again, we're going to talk about where the deck's going in the future to wrap up. As far as what you guys need to know if you're looking to play this version, which still works very well, but again, as a brewer, I'm always on to the next iteration. My brain's broken. It's okay. We want to just ramp in to the return, having already snagged some terrors in hand, right? We do want the terrors in hand, or we want to mill and discard something else. This is really the only thing we need to know. Other than that, we're just self-milling. We're just, you know, clogging up the field, and we're just removing our opponent's threats and prolonging the game until we can make our move with terror. And it does go very quick if you can get it, right? So you may not get it on turn 4, turn 5, turn 6, but you can probably get it more consistently turn 7, turn 8, turn 9, you know, turn 8, turn 9, turn 10, if the draw is not there. But if the draw is there, you should have lethal on turn 6, which is a sign of a very healthy mid-range deck. You know, aggro decks are killing on turn 4. If you can have a deck that's not aggro get turn 6 and turn 7 wins, I think that's fairly competitive, and it's just going to be a matter of fine-tuning it, right? Maybe it's a deck that needs a sideboard, but again, we discuss all these things as we get into it. I'm rambling. Thank you for your time and attention. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the channel to all of your friends, support financially on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, our Amazon link, and our Grave Viking game links. We've got the giveaways going on. Jump in, ask the community how to take part in those if you don't already know. Enjoy today's gameplay footage. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll be back with our wrap-up thoughts where we can kind of ramble on more about the deck a little bit in a second. Well, not a second. It's, you know, it's a little bit. But make sure to watch to the end. It's valuable stuff, kids. We go first. We don't have any red land in hand. No red land in hand. No red land in hand. I think we'll be okay, though. We're going to try our best. We're going to squeeze on through, pick up a mountain, and preferably a source of discard. Vicious Return would be ideal. Thrill of Possibility is another option. We do have removal up. The vessel can, you know, hit for a couple points of damage. We'll gain a couple life. Nightmare can, you know, be removal the turn after. Our opponent is straight chillin'. Mountain in play. And a champion coming at our vessel. We actually leave it because we gain that life right back. So it's of no consequence to us at all. Swamp in play. Triton goes out because we already have less cards in hand than they do. So even if they get a robber, which we would hold up eliminate for, we can just trade with the Triton, and that's fine, right? Because we're self-milling, all is well. We can even, you know, potentially leave it because they're not getting us, and we could Nightmare, but I think I want to Nightmare the champion instead. Right? That should be fine, I hope. They're definitely taking their time. I've never seen a red deck play this slowly before. Maybe they didn't pick... Oh, they did. There's their land, so that's not what the holdup was. I am not recording my games on Twitch Live anymore. Used to do that. Don't. Now you guys are getting exclusive content found nowhere else, because we had people always just kind of logging in while we're recording, you know, taking advantage of that. And that's fine while I stream, but when I'm trying to do the YouTube videos, you know, the holdups are kind of frustrating. So, no blocks here. I wasn't expecting the Intimidator. We still Elspeth's Nightmare the Champion, looking for an Embercleave in their hand. We can trade with the Intimidator. You know, we're not in a position to really be blocking it effectively, because A, it can make our Death Touch a coward, and B, it can use +1/+1 on itself to just survive the vessel. So I think we're better off just to swing for our damage up to 22, then down to, what is it, 18 probably? Again, that makes it so they can only spend one of their mana this turn though, right? If they want to, you know, well, actually two, because we tapped the vessel. Bone Crusher in play. That feels so awkward. They could have stomped either of our creatures. They really want that Embercleave, but we go straight to their hand right now. So that doesn't work. Just trying to get into the headspace of our opponent always, right? That's a big, you know, part of competitive gaming, is understanding what's going on. So we do get that cleave. They've got a Torbrand and a Fireblade Charger, which represent massive amounts of damage. More Death Touch is good. The life gain's great. No attacks. We play defensively with the Death Touch. So the Charger is going to be annoying. We need to deal with that Charger, and we're still looking for a red land off the top. We've not found it, even within the mills, which is pretty awkward. We're like, we're getting mana screwed here, so it should relieve itself soon. The whole deck can't be like that, obviously. Oh, hey-oh! Ow, 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 ow! So, we cannot kill Torbrand, which is relatively annoying. We can kill the giant without targeting it, which is pretty cool, right? So we sack the vessel, we kill Bonecrusher Giant. And then we're still playing defensively. It's awkward. Can't say that I enjoy it. We do have a vessel to bring back with the minions return, so it's not, you know, the worst scenario. And we're discarding our terror, remember, as well. Each player has to discard a card. Yep. We'll take that. I think they should have went in with the Fireblade Charger, and then the one attack would have killed them both. Another Intimidator. That's pretty good. And then they don't have to discard, right? We do. They don't. If we pull a mountain off the top and I throw Terror, I'm going to be pretty sad. Oh! Because we'd be missing out on 1 damage. And then, of course, the 5/5 comes in, so it would be 6 damage total if we were to play the Terror and pull the vessel, right? So it's a little awkward, but we can pray. But we can pray to the Lord. Okay, each player discards a card. And we didn't get the land, right? So the nice thing about the Vicious Return, that we get the draw first. Trigger goes on the stack. They don't have a discard, so I'm not even sure why we're waiting on them. Like, don't they just select 0 or like pass immediately? All right, cool. Cool. Terror goes. We take another self-mill, gain some more life. More death touch as well, always helpful. This is not the way to play mono red. You just gotta slam your face into your keyboard. Do everything. Get after it. I really want to kill that Torbrand, though. How do we accomplish this? And why is our opponent roping us? We'll give him the Sleepy Hydron. No attacks. And turn, hold up, eliminate. Wow, bro. This is some next level meta game. You know, the patience meta game is extreme, right? They're just like meditating, levitating above their computer chair. They're not even touching it, you know, just like sitting right above it. That's what takes them so long, of course. You know, they're in deep trance. They're looking for a cleave. I don't want them to find one. Do not top deck an Embercleave. They can cast it regardless. So let's see these attackers. And let's actually have Embercleave put down on a creature. Yes. Made you spend your mana. Made you spend your mana. There's no cleave here. Could still be just general shenanigans that I'm not looking forward to seeing. Right? I hope it's a land, but, you know, that's all that is a hope. All right. And we lose the other Triton. All right, we didn't want to take the damage, though. Or the blocks would have been declared anyways. Maybe we should have held on to the eliminate there, actually. I think we should have held on to the eliminate. Oh no, what do you guys think? Should we have held on to the eliminate? Probably. Because blockers were already declared, they should have done that first. But then they could have only done it to 1. Yeah, I think a little bit of a misplay there, but... could be worse. It's a land. Oh no. Let's just hammer home. We'll decline the sacrifice. Okay, we're getting hit for 4. Oh man, they get Annex into play. Ah, we top deck a land. And then we have to lose the land. We play defensively here. End our turn. We can take the Locthwain draw. No blocks, we let it hit. 7 damage. to the cookie cutter. Then an Intimidator in play. We take the draw, man. That's a good game. I mean, they got all their pieces. We took their cleave, which probably saved us. Elspeth's Nightmare. Blessed be thy name. And we dealt with their threats. They had the attackers, they had Torbrand, they have Annex. They're doing all the do's. They are doing the do's. So we bring Vessel back into the fold. Does 6 damage itself, right? It's a 1/1, and then it's a 5/5. And then Terror attacks for lethal. We could have attacked last turn, but that would have opened up Torbrand to attack, and, you know, I wanted to play a little bit defensively, because we knew we had lethal the following turn anyways, whether they were at 12 or if they were down to 6. So just holding out, chilling it. Eating this rope up. Nom 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 nom. Oh, it's a 2/2 as well. Isn't that fun because of the thing, right? It gets a +1/+1 counter on it. So it's actually a 2/2, which is groovy. So it's like 2 damage in, and then 5 damage in, total for 7, and then we attack for 6. Right? That's a thing. That is a thing. We can make a zombie here, hit for another 2. Gulp. You know, they're gonna rope us the whole time. I'm gonna go all out, right? I'm gonna make them concede. It's the truest victory is when your opponent hits the concede button. Oof. Oof, skis. Down to 3, and, you know, sitting on a 6/5, a 5/5, and a 2/2. Hello, good game. Hit him with the hot skis. Good match. Blessed be thy Rakdos recursion deck. It's my new favorite saying. That's blessed be thy. I think maybe I should have been a priest or a pastor? One of those things? I don't really know. I'm not too religious. I do believe in Terror of the Peaks, though. It is the truth. All right, great match. Let's see how this second and third match fold out for us. Going first, the land is horrible. But we do have, like, a nice ramp into it. This can be a mountain. Then we have Vessel. Oh, wow. Okay, we really need a third land as well. We do have Village Rites, which should find it for us, but the fact that we're relying on that for our land pull is like 5 head. We'll do our best, though. It's okay. Everybody just relax. Make sure to like that video. Hit that like button. Oh, nice. Okay. Resolve. We're going to leave our passage. They get another trickery. Does that trickery counter this trickery now? And they get to do it all again? Right? Very classy. Oh, no, they just both fizzle. Okay. Let's hit him with the hello, good game. Because, you know, that's what that is. We get a free turn? Sign me up. We have to Village Rites it. You know, we can't just brick or they will win. We get the land. Woo! Look at us go. Playing on curve. Doing the do. We have another Village Rites, but freaking not the right cards. Let's just get right into their hand and take whatever they've got that's good in there. Right? Yeah. They won't have creatures. You know what I mean? Let me just pull the ultimatum out of their hand. Let me pull the Ugin out of their hand and dispose of the threat. Wow. I can't believe we don't get it. Oof. Watch us mill land right off the top. No, 2 more non-lands? Woof. What a top deck. What a top deck. Holy. Deck's totally fair and playable. That was 3 ultimatums in like the top 10. That's psycho. Good game, not even fun to watch. Not even fun to play against. Try to find a skill that uses some deck. Oh, sorry, some deck that uses some skill. Pardon me. See, I can't even form simple sentences, and I can still play decks that are better than that. Come on, you guys. Going first. Let's just, build a grave up, right? Build that grave, HGG. Mono red. We already played against you. Take a black source. It's annoying not being able to block. Right? If they play a robber here, that sucks too. I'm hoping for 2 1-drops. No, that's a 2-drop. Maybe we can pick up a Death Touch life gain? No. Just a terror of the peaks that we can't play. Okay, this doesn't look good. Do you think they play Annex? Yes. Oh my gosh. Turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. Luckily, we can come back. We still have that pesky Rimrock Knight to deal with, though. Can we get a 4-drop in play? Can we get another 2-drop? No, it's a 1-drop. And a 3-drop. We hit odd again. It still looks pretty scary, though. Can Terror take us home? I don't know. I do not know. I know that once Terror's in play, we can kick a Skyclave on top of it. Oh, nice. Good game. There's nothing we can do there. It's just lethal. We only have 1 creature to come and play. Our opponent plays first. Can't say that I'm happy about it, but it is what it is, right? Too bad we don't have Bone Crusher Giant in the deck. Is that worth running? I don't know. What do you guys think about Bone Crusher in the deck? All right. Little Cycloroni. Grab some life gain. We need some more black land. That's a lot of mountain, if you ask me. Fertile footsteps from our opponent here. Ooh. We take the one that's tapped and we try to get this one to block us. If we don't attack, it won't attack, and, you know, we may as well get rid of their life points, right? Because they don't have life gain. We do. So we mitigate their... Ooh, wow, wow. We get a henge. That's cool. This land sucks, though. This can kill the mammoth. They're dropping 5 next turn. We'll kill the innkeeper, right? Land out. Obosh or dragon? Which way do they go? Probably dragon? Yeah. Oh. Oh! I have no way to kill this thing. Okay. We can only do 3 damage with this. Let's try to get something good in the grave through the mill. Oh, we get a terror! Let's take a nightmare out for the 2/2. Shade in play as well. Why not? Okay, so Obosh in play. And we get hit for 8. That's not going to work. We just don't have an answer for this. This is going to be game. Whoa. I guess that gives them 6 mana. They can play Obosh after. Crazy, bro. The Great Henge. They just sink it in. Oh, Sag. I guess we should have kept... Well, we do get the mill. We get another chance. No, we don't get anything. Sad, 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 sad. Well, I guess we can kill it. We have 4 that we could do. I guess we should have done some of that damage to them instead. I just don't see this working out. Let's hit for 5. We missed out on 2 damage as well. That's on me. Watch us get them down to 2. Oh, no. They gain their 2 life back. We can block with Terror. unless they have a borrower. Obosh in play, they get the draw. Cry, it's an innkeeper. Draw engine sucks, they get another draw. They have 3 mana because of the treasure. They go up to 5 after they attack. 6. But we do kill the dragon, don't we? It does double damage. We have to take it. Down to 1. Oh my god, we get a land. Absolutely whiffed it. We would have 4 mana left over. 4 mana doesn't do us anything. Extinction Event on odds. That uses all of our black but 1. Oh no, it only leaves us with 3. Right, we have 7, it costs 4. That doesn't work. Neither does anything else. I mean, we're holding in there. It sucks. It's less than ideal. You know what I mean? I guess we should have traded with the dragon, maybe? Before. We have to now. There's no choice. There could just be straight up Embercleave. No, okay. I mean, still worried. We'll just, you know, outweigh the great hand. Not really outweigh it, balance it. Right? 2 life a turn. That's fair. Totally fine. I'm gonna chump block the Obosh attack, obviously. Let's send the borrower right to the grave. There goes our chump block. Oh. My lantern. Did we do the do? Did we do the do? We did the do. We did it. And this fizzles. Remember that damage we missed out on? They have haste in the air with that frickin' dragon, though. They have haste in the air with the dragon if they top deck it. Lots of land to get there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 8 is 13. Wow. Remember that 2 damage we missed earlier? So if they have a dragon, we will survive. They counter it. So they can still top deck a dragon. Okay, here it is. It's a Love-Struck Beast. Getting paid immediately for the draw. What do they pick up? They have 7 mana left. It's a Triumph. They cycle it down to 4. 7 mana left because the treasures. I forgot about those before. They had 10 before. There's no way they pull a Genesis Ultimatum. Okay. So they get the draw, right? That's what they're going for. They're just trying to fill up the field with blockers. That was a well-earned win with a little misplay that could have potentially cost us, but we do our best and we get around it. Yeah, I love it. Woof. So the deck can definitely pop, but I think there's room for improvement, and let's discuss some of that improvement. Of course, if we're on the live premiere, make sure to like the video before it ends and comment. If it gets to 100 likes, I pull one of the comments, you win yourself $10. Quick reminder, I'm done. The deck. You know, I don't think Thrill of Possibility needs to really be in there. So let's do some edits real time, right? I think the Thrill can go. I like the draw, but why wouldn't we just run more Village Rites? That's all I'm thinking, right? I do think the Ox is really good for us here as well. I think it needs to be re-added. Yes, expensive, but worst case scenario, we're replaying it on top of our Terror for only 2 mana. That's really good. To play the Ox that draws you a hand for 2 mana and deal 4 damage is not bad. And, you know, worst case scenario, we bring it back with the return if the dragon's not ready. So I think that's something that we're going to work towards in the future. An easy fix, an easy adjustment. I do really like the Vessels. I think that it works well with the strategy of the Terror, because we want to play a Terror organically and we want to bring one back from the grave. But we can also just bring the Vessel back from the grave on top of the Terror. This works well also because, you know, it's a 5/5. It's still dealing 5 damage. Actually, it's a 6. No, it's a 5/5. But it actually deals more damage because the Vessel would be a 2/2. So, you know, you're getting 2 there. Then you're getting 5 for 7. Plus, you attack for 10, which is the 17. And then the Vicious Return on top. So, you know, it's such a good combo. And I want to run, and this is why I'm thinking this, is like I want to run maybe Call of the Death Dweller, but at the same time, you know, I'm thinking no, it already works that way better because the +1/+1 that you get triggers the Terror. So it's a, you know, a 2/2 instead of a 1/1, and then it's a 5/5. So I think it's much better that way. Because you get that. Otherwise, it would just be 19 damage, which is so sad. Who can do 19 damage? Other ways to get damage, though. And then, you know, the Shade already has natural recursion. And we're looking to utilize that graveyard more now with the Ox. So that feels awkward as well. The more important question that I find myself asking is, what about Kroxa? Right? And is the removal okay? What about Kroxa, and is the removal okay? I love the fact that we could drop a Kroxa on Terror for 2 mana, deal 6 damage. Right? We have the Village Rites to get the draw off it as well. We could also push it back with the return. You know, that's 7 damage. It goes away, though. So the haste is not... That's wasted. So it doesn't work with the return. I like Kroxa in the deck. Not maybe necessarily to be replaying from the grave as much, because, you know, we need the vessel in the grave. We need potentially terror in the grave. And the shade comes back all the time. So I don't know how much that we want to be, you know, just tossing to our grave to replay things with exile. The Ox is one thing because it draws us cards. But Kroxa, it might be a one of, right? Maybe we run one copy of Kroxa. And then I also kind of want to add a land or two, which we get to a point where it's like, okay, what do we do? Do we drop a Triton? Do we drop a Skyclave Shade? We add a Kroxa, we add a land. I don't want to lose removal. I almost want more removal. I feel like a Heartless Act could be good as well. The replayability of the Shade does save us a lot, though, and we can kick the Shade on the Terror. We lose a Trident. Very awkward, but I do want to start doing this with you guys, so you get the complete process that I'm doing. You know, from where the deck build started, then we play it, and now we come back later to edit it and kind of fine-tune it for the future. Of course, if you guys have any comments and suggestions throughout this process, leave them down below. I love it. I read all of the comments. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. As far as the deck goes, I do feel that we've made positive progress. And at this point, I would probably, you know, take it back, play a whole bunch more matches, see how it performed, and kind of come back from there, because you don't want to change things too much all at once. Just little adjustments. Get another 4 or 5 games under your belt. How did those changes feel in comparison, you know, to what it was? And, you know, progress from there. So that's kind of my process. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, subscribe, and share the channel to all of your friends. You can support financially on Twitch, Patreon, YouTube, our Amazon link, and our Great Viking Games link. We've got the 500,000 gem giveaway, free cash prize monthly tournaments on Melee, one-on-one coaching sessions with cash prizes as well, and you know, so much more within the community. So thanks to all of you for making this a possibility. I appreciate it, and we'll see you soon in the next video.